Welcome back, everybody. For the last week, we have been mourning our dear friend Charlie Kirk and examining his incredible legacy. Charlie was fearless in his pursuit of the truth, and one example of that was back during the COVID pandemic. Charlie was one of the first podcasters to have on doctors who didn't necessarily trust everything that we were being told about the COVID vaccine. So joining me now to discuss this and how important it is world-renowned doctor and chief scientific officer at the wellness company, Dr. Peter McCullough. Dr. McCullough, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You know, we were just talking in the break before we came to air. Charlie was such a supporter of health freedom. And at the beginning of the pandemic, when it was not yet popular to question the narrative, he was one of the few people who was asking questions. And that's so important, whether we're talking about Charlie, whether we're talking about COVID, or something or someone in the future.
So true. I knew Charlie and we'll miss him dearly. He brought a message to the young people of the country to examine their own views on the pandemic and particularly respect medical freedom. I think it's a very, very important message, a very important discussion. COVID-19 was hitting college campuses. The kids were involved in unnecessary lockdowns, in some circumstances, forced vaccine, and Charlie saw it clearly.
Yeah. What do you think that the role is now of people like Charlie? Is it still to question the narrative? Is it still to, talk about things like the vaccine or what we were all talking about pretty much soon after the COVID pandemic, hydroxychloroquine and other types of ways to treat it? Is that the role?
Yeah, the role is to encourage discussion, fair interchange. We didn't see that on college campuses, and quite frankly, we didn't see it in graduate schools, medical schools, or even on faculties of medicine.
Right.
We have to get back to that. I think part of it was the lockdowns. People were isolated from one another, and we didn't have the normal scientific discourse. Our agencies are still not holding Washington conferences where we all come together and review lessons learned from the pandemic and discuss critical issues like vaccine safety.
So whose role would it to bring that back? Because I feel like that's vitally important to have that, that autopsy of what went wrong. Is that the responsibility of HHS? Who is that?
Oh, HHS for sure. In cardiology, we've had Bethesda conferences in years past. That can be the head of the National Institutes of Health, or they can, delegate that to the, the infectious disease branch. The FDA can certainly hold, all hands on deck types of meetings to review critical information. But, we need to bring the agencies and medical academia together so we can go over what happened through the pandemic, what worked, what didn't, and particularly examine COVID-19 vaccine safety and side effects.
Yeah, there are definitely lessons to be learned, but until we have those discussions, those lessons are for naught. I want to switch gears and ask you about this parasite that I'm hearing about. Chagas, I think is what it is. Chagas. It's transmitted via insects. Tell us about it, and is it something we need to worry about?
In the United States, we don't. There's just sporadic cases, but down in Brazil, for instance, it's the leading cause of heart failure. So Chagas disease, principally it's dealt with by control of the insects that transmit it. But suffice it to say, we're all at risk for parasitic infections. It's normally GI ingesting eggs if we eat sushi or raw or undercooked meals. You see the warnings on menus, for instance, or have pets. Wellness company, we've got a nice combination, ivermectin-based fixed dose product that's perfect for that application, since the parasitic diseases are difficult to diagnose.
So that IVM and mebendazole, what is it called?
Mebendazole.
Mebendazole. Is that something that you should take to prepare for it, to kind of ward it off, or is it something that you would take if you got it?
You would take it if you got it. Some people get it when they travel. For instance, they're going to go to Mexico or Central America. Some of the most common parasitic infections include Giardia. You can get that from contaminated water, or pinworms or hookworms. You can get those from dirty bathrooms. So a lot of people want to be prepared. You don't want to get behind on this, and you certainly don't want to go to foreign clinics or emergency rooms.
Absolutely. All right. So I think that the dirty secret is out about the vaccine and its effectiveness or lack thereof, and its safety or its lack thereof. And I know a lot of people experience vaccine regret. When it comes to what the wellness company has to offer, I know you guys have this ultimate Spike Detox and some other products as well. Tell us about it.
Most who've taken the vaccine should be considering Ultimate Spike Detox. That's the medicinal grade, evidence-based, peer-reviewed, published approach to helping the body clear the spike protein that's built up in the body after vaccination. Most patients need to be on it for a year. We start by measuring the antibodies to the spike protein at baseline and follow-up. We want to see a nice drop in the antibodies as an indirect proxy. For those who didn't take the vaccine but just generally concerned, spike support is a lower dose of the most important ingredient, nattokinase. But Wellness Company has you covered with the best products, with the best evidence-based behind them. Right now, no other medical schools have produced any protocols, nor the companies have scientifically published any protocols. Wellness Company is in the lead.
Yeah, once again, the wellness company leading the charge when it comes to these types of solutions. Dr. Peter McCullough, world-renowned doctor and chief scientific officer at the Wellness Company. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's an honor. And to our audience, go to twc.health/justnews today and use code JUSTNEWS to save 10% on any order from the Wellness Company. That includes their ultimate spike detox treatment that we were just talking about. That's twc.health/justnews and use promo code JUSTNEWS to save 10%. All right, everybody, next, there's been a lot of wild conspiracy theories spreading online about Charlie Kirk's assassination. We're going to examine one of them next.